It's now time for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It began as a podcast, went live on the net, and transformed into a full-blown empire. It's the only daily boxing talk show on the planet, hosted by the only guy with the balls to do it. Many have stepped into the ring. Many have tried to take the belt. And one by one, they've fallen. Another victim of the undisputed heavyweight champion of Boxing Talk Radio. Talkin' Boxing with Billy C is on now.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart.
We're coming to you live from the Billy C Studios in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero, and it's time for the Billy C Show. Good morning, good day, good evening, blah, 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 blah. Whenever you listen, hope you're doing all right today. Today's show is being brought to us in part by Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Italian Restaurant located on St. Simon's Island in Georgia. Check out his website, www.salsneighborhoodpizzeria.com. Or give my man a call, 912-268-2328, 912-268-2328. Find out why I go all the way to St. Simon's to get an authentic Italian meal. Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Italian Restaurant. Today's show is also being brought to us in part by the Southern Gourmet Spice Company. I'm donning the shirt today. Get yourself a bottle of Kenny Bear's barbecue rub now. I love the stuff. I don't know what they put in it, but I'm like kind of addicted to it. You know, I had to order some more yesterday. I'm like, I'm down to my last bottle. It's about a 2-week supply. I got to get some more. Hey, no problem, Bill. Just relax. So check it out. Go to southerngourmetspice.com. You can get to it easy by visiting our website, billycboxing.com, and clicking on the banner. Just to make sure you demand the Billy C discount. And finally, today's show is being brought to us in part by my book, Tom Molyneux, From Bondage to Baddest Man on the Planet, is available right now where all good books are sold, and you can get a copy of it literally while you're watching or listening to the show. Just go to barnesandnoble.com or amazon.com. Now, if you're looking to get a signed copy, don't worry about it. We'll hook you up. Just visit our website, billycboxing.com, and click on the book, which you can't miss. Thankfully to Jeremy C. Put it right up there. Now, if you see me out and about at an event or a function or at the grocery store, I don't know. If you see me, ask me, because I never leave home without them. I got books that I can give you right on the spot. So, anyway, a couple of things today. First and foremost, I wanted to talk about the news that was released today, or actually last night. The live gate numbers for McGregor-Mayweather have been released. The live gate itself made over $55 million, 55.4 to be exact. But all the talk about breaking records and breaking records, it fell far short of the all-time gate record for live gate sales, which actually is held by Pacquiao-Mayweather, 55.4 million for McGregor-Mayweather and 72.2 million for Mayweather Pacquiao. So almost 20 million difference. Joining me right now from St. Simon's Island, Georgia, is my man, Sal Rocky Senecola. What'd you think, man? What do you think about the gate numbers, man?
Good morning, Bill. I'll tell you, I'm not disappointed. I'm not surprised. I mean, when I ordered the fight from PayPerView and I talked to the guys and the powers that may be, they said they were right on track to exceed and surpass the record between Pacquiao and Mayweather. Well, I guess they were enthusiastic about it, but it did fall short. So the tail of the tape is a little shorter than they thought. And no, I'm not disappointed, not at all. As I said, if I I still, in my heart of hearts, felt that should have been an exhibition bout to begin with and not count as a regular professional boxing match. But, I can't say what the powers that may be could do. So I bought the fight, and it was a good, entertaining fight. It went exactly how we all predicted, and that was it. It is what it is.
Well, during the promotion of the fight, Team Mayweather and Dana White and the UFC were talking about minimally hitting about 60 million and going as high as 80 million, and the anticipation of breaking the all-time gate, ticket sale gate record did not get accomplished. And I'll tell you something. I think it's indicative of, we always talk about this, Sal. When you look at big fights over across the pond in Europe, the European boxing fans, specifically England and Germany, have a tendency to love to go out and watch a live event, especially if it's a big event, like certainly this one was. And here in the States, it's reverse. It seems like, the big events, especially boxing events, we as United States fans like to stay home and watch it. And I think this is proof. Now, the official pay-per-view numbers haven't come out yet, but they're predicting that those are going to be all-time high. Early indicators are pointing around the 5 million buys, which would be passing, Pacquiao-Mayweather, which was 4.4, I believe. So we'll wait and see, but almost 20 million cheaper than 20 million less than the Pacquiao-Mayweather. And the other thing too is that they did not sell out. They sold 13,000, a little less than 13,100 tickets, and the arena that they had set up for that fight in Vegas, the new arena that they built, could have sat 20,500. So to me, Sal, that's substantially less than a sellout. For such a fight that had so much supposed interest in it. I think it just goes to show you that from the perspective of a true fight, like you indicated about it being an exhibition, the fight fans didn't want to go see it live. Instead, they stayed home and acted like it was, watching a ball on New Year's Eve, because that's about what it was like. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I think you're 100% correct, and I love the European bloc countries and everything there. They treat it like a Super Bowl, and with the live fans and the gates, the turnouts, the enthusiasm, and it's great. And here it doesn't mirror that today as it could and should, and maybe one day it will again. But I'm glad you corrected me with the pay-per-view numbers not coming out, because I'd like to see those be near the mark that they were at least hitting for. But the fight itself, like I said, the real fight, the only fight, the most enthusiastic fight that I could get up for right now is going to be the Triple G versus Canelo Alvarez. That's the fight. I know we're going to talk a lot about that, but in comparison, that's a real boxing match. That's a real championship fight. And that's another thing, Bill. There was no belt on the line. There was no real, they want to say significant meaning, aside for the fact that they were going to be able to give Mayweather his 50th victory, which, like I said, it's not significant when you look at the lighter weight of a welterweight or junior middleweight or whatever he wanted to be fighting at. In retrospect to the all-time greatest boxing record for a heavyweight champion, which was Rocky Marciano, retiring undefeated with 49 wins, 0 defeats with 43 KOs. I mean, that's something that no other heavyweight champion has ever done. There's been many that came close. But with Mayweather, again, we got to keep in mind, and I know you remind our fans, that there are many other fighters that surpass 50-0 before ever tasting a defeat. And they kept fighting until maybe 60, 70, and 80 wins before they tasted the first defeat. So, again, Mayweather played this out. He fought a good fight. I'm never going to take that away from him. He did what he had to do, and it was a farce to begin with in my mind. And I think it was entertaining. It gave the fans across the board what they were hoping for. Mayweather's fans were happy, and McGregor's fans were disappointed. But, in their minds, he went out on his feet, and he had a good showing and accountability of himself. So there you go. Everyone wins.
Well, in this case, just discussing about the gate. And I'm glad you brought that up again because, again, Floyd gets credit for, a successful marketing campaign, getting people to think that the 50th win was so significant for him when really it really is for the heavyweight division. And the only guy that came close really was Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes, 48-0. But hey, let's turn the page because hopefully we'll never, ever, ever see Floyd Mayweather in the ring again. And I hope he focuses on his promotional company and developing fighters because, he's got a few young fighters that are worth watching. Bado Jack, I think, is his best fighter in his stable. This weekend, Jalen Love is fighting, and I don't think much of him. And I do want to see Gervonta Davis one more time. I hope he learned a lesson about discipline in the last fight, losing his belt on the scale, not looking so great until the stoppage of that fight. If Floyd can focus like half as much on his promotional fighters, the fighters he has under his promotional contract, I should say, if he can focus and dedicate 50% of the time that he was able to focus and dedicate to himself in terms of preparation and staying in shape and all the things that he did on a positive note, Mayweather Promotions is going to be very successful. If they just go through the motions now and throw their name out there and be involved in co-promotion deals, we're not going to see them excel let's face it, the top promotional companies now with the best fighters, Top Rank, Golden Boy, what's his name over in Matchroom Sports over in England. So, I'd like to see Floyd do well as a promoter.
I believe he will, and I'll tell you why. Floyd is a champion for a reason. He knows how to win. And I could say this, being a former professional fighter and, having the fighter mentality in my heart, in my mind, and in my stomach still, we don't fail. We can't. We have to succeed at anything we apply ourselves. So we're still exercising our ability and our desire to be a champ, to be the best, to be whatever we are, the intents, walking that fire, walking that tightrope. It still remains in my heart. And I think Floyd, being the champion he is, and having the mindset of a winner, and let's face it, whether you like him or not, the guy's a winner. He does not fail. So unfortunately, I think, his competition is going to see a lot of force coming behind what he's doing, because if he does not succeed at this promotional thing, what other kind of income is going to sustain a level of his lifestyle other than him coming back and fighting another fight? And how many times are we going to pay to see that? Number one. Number two, how many more fights does he have to sell his fans and audience that'll be worthy enough for them to pay the pay-per-view numbers that he's going to need to retire and have an income? But, so hopefully he'll have a good formula for success. I think he will. He's got a winner's mentality and mindset and framework, and I think his promotional company should do very, very well. He knows the game. He knows the fighters. He's got a nice little stable right now, and I think this is the next stage and next step for Floyd, and I think he's going to do well. I wish him much success.
The thing is that not all promotional companies make a ton of money. They really don't.
No,
it's not hard. I mean, it's not easy to make money.
A little bit.
It's not easy to make money as a promoter. And the first step is you got to have the name recognized fighters. And in order to get that, they have to be developed. And in order to develop a fighter, you have to put on and lose money on the smaller shows, and it'll be yet to be seen if he does that. And if Floyd Mayweather, we're gonna stop talking about this guy right when I take a break because I want to move on. But the thing is he's made so much money. Forget the IRS and all that stuff, but he's made so much money. If Floyd Mayweather can't maintain his lifestyle with the money that he should have squirreled away, then he's not the sharpest tool in the shed. I can't see somebody, even with his lavish lifestyle, pissing away almost. He's made close to $1 billion in his whole career. That doesn't mean he's got that in a suitcase somewhere. But the truth of the matter is he's made a lot of money. And I can't see it being pissed away. And you say, what other things could he do? Well, I hope he doesn't turn to gambling, because although he likes to post his winning tickets, we all know gamblers lose too. Floyd hasn't won everything he bets on. He just likes to brag when he does win. I would love to see how many times he lost, but that's a whole nother story. But anyway, hey Sal, let's take a short break. When we come back, just what we need. Just what boxing needs. Another championship belt. We'll be back in 2.
Billy C will be right back.
This is important news for women using birth control medications and devices. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with a pseudotumor after using one of these birth control drugs or devices, you may be eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Contact the law firm of Davis & Crump right now if you or a loved one have used one of these birth control medications or devices and were diagnosed with a pseudotumor to see if you are eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Call now. Operators are standing by.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some important news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from television host and 3-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we are about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-493-9652 now, and you'll receive a free copy of Josh Melberg's book, Next Gen Annuity Strategies Revealed. As a bonus, we'll also send you the #1 mistakes retirees are making with their investments today, and a free DVD on how you can get up to 33% more income in retirement. Call 800-493-9652 to have your free information kit rushed to your door. Again, that's 800-493-9652.
Listen to this important message. If you owe money to the IRS, you will want to hear this. Penalties and interest compound daily on your back taxes, putting you under a mountain of debt. Tax 10,000 has years of experience connecting people with tax resolution specialists. Working through the IRS Fresh Start program, they will handle all the necessary forms, and if you qualify, you may end up saving thousands of dollars. Call Tax 10,000 at 800-773-4604.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts! Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you!
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning. Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're listening and watching the Billy C. Show. Glad to have you here with us today. And I'm joined with my main partner in crime, Sal Rocky Senacola. And Sal, just before we went to break, just what we need in the sport of boxing. Guess what? The WBC has created another belt, a special belt for the winner of the Triple G Canelo fight. It's a new edition. They're referring to it as the second edition of the Adolfo Lopez Mateos belt, known as the Cuchillo Belt, or however they pronounce it. It's going to be rewarded to the Triple G and Canelo fight, which is taking place next weekend at the same arena that the McGregor-Mayweather fight was held. And, I'm a little confused with this belt because, first and foremost, if you recall, Saul Canelo Alvarez said that he refuses to acknowledge and fight for the WBC. He's mad that he was stripped because he ducked Triple G for so long. And Triple G is actually classified as the current IBF, WBC, IBO, and WBA world middleweight champions. So I'm a little confused at why the WBC even put out this belt. We got a plethora of belts. Now it seems that when we have the fight that should happen anyway, when you have the two best fighters in a division fighting each other, now we get a special belt? I mean, and you said so yourself. You said, oh, they weren't even fighting, referring to McGregor-Mayweather. Oh, they weren't even fighting for a belt. I mean, that's what this sport has become. People feel that fights aren't even important unless there's a freaking belt on the line. Not only is there that new one on the line, but we got 4 others on the line for this. I mean, how many belts do you need?
I don't know. I guess they got loose pants. I don't know, but whoop-de-doo. I'll tell you what, it's a shame because, like I said, it dilutes the whole integrity of the concept of being a champion and having one belt. Nothing else needs to be said. I mean, I'm just, I'm not surprised, but hey, it's another way to collect revenue. They got to pay sanctioning fees. They got to pay additional fees that's going to go along with this. So, hey, it's raising money for the cause.
Well, I think, I don't think, I don't know for a fact.
No,
but I doubt that they're charging a sanctioning fee for that particular belt. But they are. No. The IBF, the IBO, WBC, and WBA all are getting sanctioning fees on this fight. It is the only belt that Triple G does not have is the WBO, which is currently owned by Billy Joe Saunders. So we'll have to wait and see. But yes, another belt. Maurice Suleiman said the belt is 100% Mexican, and it's to honor the 2 dates that are celebrated annually in boxing, which is May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, and September 16th, which is a Mexican Independence Day, which September 16th, the day of the fight. He says it's a beautiful. This is Suleiman talking. He said. Mauricio Suleiman, I hope I didn't mistakenly say Jose. He said the belt is beautiful. It's a beautiful piece. It has the Mexican flag and the flag of Kazakhstan, which is where Kazakhstan, or however you pronounce it. I'm so terrible, and I apologize to all you Kazakhstanians. But it has those flags on it. It has both fighters.
Wow.
And we'll see what happens.
Hey, it's a nice belt. You know what? Look at it this way. If it was an amateur fight, the trophy signifying the fight and the significance of the fight would be going to the winner. So this is their trophy. It's going to be a belt. So there you go. And that's it. It is a significant fight. And you know what? I can see what they're looking at with it should have been a trophy. That's what it should have been. Commemorating the dates of the Mexican holidays and everything else. This could have been a large but big trophy.
It's just like what I say. That's what's happened to to the world. It's a participation trophy. Now everybody, now not only are they fighting for world titles, but they all get a trophy. Everybody wins. I'm surprised they don't
give. I'm surprised. Exactly what it is. Yeah, it should have been a trophy, shaped like a trophy. I think they could have designed that with the love and intent of signifying what the meaning is behind it, even more so than just a belt, because the belt is a belt. Belt lost its value.
What's next? What's next? Trophy. Everybody gets one, whether you win or lose. Is that the next play or what?
I don't know. They should have gotten an 18-karat gold-plated nice trophy. That would have been significant.
I don't know, man.
Maybe 24-karat.
It's like anything else in life. Supply and demand. The more belts that we have, the less value they become. And every fighter now, if you watch your fighters walk into the ring, especially for a significant fight, they're all carrying a plethora of belts. Every belt they ever won, from what did my man Marlon Starling say? The mittens, the junior mittens division. From that point all the way up, they're carrying belts. I know it's a sign of accomplishment, but it's watered down, and that's an understatement, don't you think?
It is much so. And I'm laughing because I got a call the other night and on my cell phone, and a guy on the other end said, "Hey, I want to order a pizza. I want to order a couple, and I hope you could deliver them." And I said, "Yeah, we can make sure on my cell phone." So I figured it was rollover from the other phone, and he said, "Sal, I'm just busting you. This is Marlon."
Really? That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
he called me. He was funny. He just wanted to call and thank us again how a great weekend he had, and he and his wife. And I got a call from everybody. I got a call from Ray Mercer saying the same. Got a call from Bobby Ches saying the same. So, that was a great weekend. But he cracked me up when you mentioned Marlon, because he called me off guard. I said, "How many pies would you like, sir?"
You didn't see his name pop up? I mean, come on. You got his name in your phone. Don't play. Don't play.
No. Guess what? No, I swear to God, his was the only name I didn't have on my phone. I locked it in. Did not know. I saw a Connecticut phone number. It came up like that, but I didn't know it was Marlon till he told me.
Good stuff.
It was.
Nonito Donaire returns to the ring. A former world champion, a fan favorite. 37 wins, 4 losses, and no draws. 24 of his wins coming by knockout. He's taken on only twice beaten Ruben Garcia Hernandez, who's 22-2-1 for 9 knockouts. But guess what? The fight is for a belt. Can you believe it? What makes me it's for the silver. This particular fight is for the WBC silver featherweight title, which is their version of the interim belt. And, it makes me wonder why fighters that have a name, a recognizable name, immediately, even after a long layoff, immediately get to fight for some kind of a title. I mean, it happened with Miguel Cotto a couple weeks ago. He hadn't fought in over a year, and a year and a half, I think. And next thing you know, he's a world champion now. How does a sanctioning body let a fighter who especially fighters that are coming off a loss, who have been inactive, immediately fight for a world title? Again, the dilution of world titles and the fact that everybody gets a belt, the value has to be lowered. I mean, the value of a title belt is definitely lowered, but the marketing aspect, the way that the belt is portrayed as equating to quality and a champion and the best in the division is what sells to the ignorant fan and the ignorant suits at the networks, because they're the ones that require all these belts. So we can blame fighters, we could blame sanctioning bodies, we could blame managers and promoters, but guess what? The television networks are to blame too, because you can't sell a fight to them unless there's a title on the line. And that's the truth, Sal.
Wow, well, there goes finally the answer. What came first, the chicken or the egg? You just told me. Thank you very much. Hey, I want to also thank you, because a couple weeks ago when we had our weekend, I appreciate you. You presented me with a title belt. I thank you so much.
Is that it hanging in the back there?
No, that's it right in the back. Yeah. See that?
There's nothing but the best for you, Sal. Nothing but
it says
the best.
It says the Billy C. Boxing Special Award participation belt.
Trophy,
and I thank
right.
you very much.
Hey, also on that Nonito Donaire card, just to finish that thought, it's taking place September 3rd in Texas at the Alamo Dome. Ringstar Sports, Richard Schaefer's new promotional company, will be the promoter. And, Keith Tapia in the cruiserweight division, 17-1 and 11 knockouts, is taking on Latif Khod. Latif Khod busted onto the scene and was a big name. And then he moved to heavyweight and didn't fare so well. But 21-1 is Khod's name. He hasn't been in the active slate for a while. Now, these are fights that are going to be on the undercard of Junior Dorticos and Dmitry Kutuzov, which is a part of the World Boxing Super Series. So a nice card, finally signed, sealed, and delivered for that date on the 23rd. I'm looking forward to all those fights, Sal. I really am.
They're going to be great fights. They're going to be a bunch of good fights that we have to look forward to. I'm telling you, one thing I am happy with, Bill. We've been fortunate enough. I think we've seen some good, significant fights this year, and we've had some fill-in time. But for the most part, we've had some great major fights and good competitive fights. So, as I said, I'm very happy with 2017, how it's looking, and hopefully we'll be setting the plate and the table for a great year of boxing for 2018.
2017, great year in the sport. There's no question about that. But, hey, let's take a short break. When I come back, I got some emails to read. Also, the NFL football season officially starts tonight. I got my prediction for tonight's game. I'll be back in 2.
Billy C will be right back.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some important news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from television host and 3-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we are about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-493-9652 now, and you'll receive a free copy of Josh Melberg's book, Next Gen Annuity Strategies Revealed. As a bonus, we'll also send you the #1 mistakes retirees are making with their investments today, and a free DVD on how you can get up to 33% more income in retirement. Call 800-493-9652 to have your free information kit rushed to your door. Again, that's 800-493-9652.
If you or a loved one have had hernia repair surgery with mesh reinforcement and suffered infection, chronic pain, mesh migration, mesh failure, organ damage, or needed additional surgery, call the Rely On Group right now. You may be eligible to receive a cash award and compensation for your medical expenses. Your voice deserves to be heard. Call the Rely On Group to be connected with a personal injury attorney for a free consultation. Call 800-715-4869. That's 800-715-4869.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-290-8300.
Snacking has never been this exciting. At Graze.com, we combine wholesome ingredients with the flavors we all love to create over 100 exciting snacks, like these. We'd love to send you a Graze sampler box for free. Just go to Graze.com, enter the code ENJOY36, and we'll mail your free box to your home or office. Join thousands of Grazers already in love with our exciting snacks. So come to Graze.com for your first box free.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why you do doing that to my face? I hate you. I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning. Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're listening and watching the Billy C. Show. Glad you could be with us today. And every time I watch that back brace commercial, my back hurts, man. It's like, man, that commercial it hurts my back just watching it. But anyway, tonight the NFL kicks off, and we got the New England Patriots playing the Kansas City Chiefs. And right now, the line on this game is the Patriots laying 9 points. As of this morning, -9 against the Chiefs. Now, this opened up as a 6-point game, and the point spread has risen to 9, in 4 days. I mean, the official line came out on Sunday. But so that's indicative of movement in Vegas where money is being put on the Patriots. And if you watch some of the preseason talk and Anna's the experts analyzing the game and the teams and everything, everybody's like, oh, could this be the year that the Patriots falter and are not the powerhouse that they've been for the last 47 years? They lost Edelman. What are they going to do? Can they win? Can they not win? Here's the thing. The New England Patriots would, and I'm a Jets fan, so I hate the Patriots. But I don't hate them because I have anything against anybody personally. I hate them because they slap around the Jets on a regular basis. And, what makes them so good is the fact that Bill Belichick has incorporated a system. And when they draft players or pick up players, the player has to understand that they're piece of a system. And when, if the system says to take 3 steps to the right and block your guy in front of him and the runner goes to your left, you're not supposed to go after the runner. You take those 3 steps to the right and do what the system says. Everybody that they get on that team follows that system. And the end result is success. When they have a player go down, they got many more to step up and fill that spot. They do that on purpose, something that is done better than any other NFL team. With that said, do I think that the Patriots are going to win? Well, the Chiefs are no slouch team. The Chiefs have a solid team, both sides of the ball, and their special teams are good. This game, although I think the Patriots are going to win, I think that this game is going to be a lot closer than 9 points. I think 9 points are too much. So my official prediction on this game for tonight to kick off the NFL season is play the Chiefs plus the 9. Take the Chiefs plus the 9. The Patriots will win this game, but I'm thinking they're going to win by a touchdown or less. 9 points is a lot to be laying against the Kansas City Chiefs. That's my official prediction. Sal, I know you don't really follow it too much, but do you have any thoughts on the NFL opener?
Well, I think it's going to be a great opening game, and Bill, I'll tell you what, I just will say I couldn't have said any better. You hit it. I think the Chiefs with the point spread will win as a bet. But I do see. I mean, let's face it. You were hinting. You got a bunch of thoroughbreds on this New England team, and what I mean by that too, I mean Belichick was under Bill Parcells of the Giants when they were great in the yesteryear and everything else, and hopefully resurrecting a little bit to make some big impact this year. But so you have a formula, as you suggested, that is tailored for success, and when you have one player that the game doesn't just ride on, and you have several that can come up and rise to the occasion, that's a gauntlet that you have to significantly disable before you get some defeats under your belt. But bottom line is they win. They know how to win. They know how to win games. And that's all this is. You take each game at a time, and that's the priority, is to win that game. So they do it, and they set it, and they make it like a chess game. And Bill Belichick, he knows how to win chess. He knows how to win at football. So that's what this game is going to be tonight. Just one of those chess games in a tournament that's known as the NFL season. So good luck to everybody, and may everybody remain healthy and get out of the game and put on a good show. And I think, though, New England's going to win the game outright.
Tears are welting up in my eyes.
I thought so.
With all of your neutralism. All of your neutralism. You know, I'm telling you, you should get into politics. But
I'm a politician.
Yeah. Let me say this.
The
other thing that Bill Belichick does is he's a master at utilizing the NFL's own rules. And I'll give you an example. Last year, you had an option of, as a team to either take the ball on the 20 or to kick it, right? And, they moved the kickers up so that they would, have a tendency to more or less kick the ball in the end zone to move it out to the 20, right? And what Bill Belichick did was when he would kick off, he would kind of pooch kick it and land, have the ball land in the field of play rather than bang it into the end zone to bring it out to the 20. And as a result, a lot of the kickoffs resulted in the Patriots starting, the team that's playing against the Patriots starting deeper than the 20-yard line. And I thought that was ingenious. He beat the NFL at their own stupid game, and we'll see what happens. Because the NFL's been talking about doing away with the kickoffs because they too many injuries and everything else happening. So, they want to do away with the kickoffs.
You know what? Here we go again.
Well, boxing, they're thinking about doing away. There's actually a league now that you're not allowed to hit in the head. Yeah,
okay, wow.
Which is and pretty soon boxing you might not even be allowed to punch. I think you just dance and stuff, But
you know what? I think here's what boxing is going to come to. You're going to have those like little sensors glued, almost like when you get an EKG or EEG. Little pads are going to be glued on significant targets that's not going to be life-threatening or whatever it is, and you got to hit those little targets. That's what it's going to be. You're going to have sensors on your gloves, and you're going to have sensors with 24-ounce gloves, pillows, and you watch. That's what's going to happen one day. 24-ounce gloves and headgear and little sensors. You're only going to hit that.
Well, listen, that's how they need to change the punch stats. They got to have. And I've said this. I told you that my idea is they need to invent some kind of a waterproof lotion or substance that won't sting or get in your eyes or anything like that, and put it on the fighters' bodies and have some kind of built-in transmitter. That's as a receiver, and then the transmitter in the glove. So then when they make impact, then we can actually score fights and have punch stats as a true statistic, because punch stats right now are subjective. You and I can watch the same. We could have four people and we all watch the same punch from different angles and have four different opinions on whether that punch landed flush or whether it scored, whether it didn't score, et cetera, et cetera. And that's the main problem I have with what we call punch stats today. It's not real statistics, and some of the broadcasters and commentators discuss it, specifically Jim Lampley, discuss it like it's fact. He's talking about who won the round based on the punch stats that two other guys that are watching the same fight are scoring. So anyway, I got some emails here. Let's start off with the one from Jesse. He says, "Hey, Billy C. and Sal, I meant to say that Roman Gonzalez versus, and I'm sick of murdering this guy's name, so I'm just going to call him Rung. Roman Gonzalez against Rung will be the same result. It'll be tough to call the fight, but Rung will knock down Roman twice, but Roman will make it close, but eventually Rung will win. Then that winner will fight the Kudras and Estrada winner, and the Inoue and Nieves winner fights the winner of Valoria and Cartagena. Even though Cartagena does not even deserve this fight since he doesn't have the resume. Interesting to think that Chocolito is going to lose the rematch. I wonder if him moving up in weight and finally fighting the bigger guy, if that was part of the problem. A lot of people haven't mentioned that, Sal, but
no.
And I know those weight classes are separated only by a few pounds, but remember, he's moved up 3, and, maybe that was the difference. I mean, he did get busted up in the last fight, and his style is, an action-packed style, and maybe Jesse's onto something. Maybe we're going to see the exact same thing. What do you think?
Well, I think it's very possible. And, case in point, I think Pacquiao moved up maybe 2 weight classes above what he should have been, fighting consistently at. I don't know. I think he's fighting over his head with the current or last weight class he fought at. But, it's not for me to judge or tell a fighter where to fight. But, these weight class moves, even though they're only 5 or 6 pounds in between, 3 should be the max that a fighter, 15 pounds worth over a career is not unreasonable. But if it's put on correctly, or hydration, or whatever else comes into play, I think 3 is pushing that envelope.
Well, I'll tell you right now, some of those lower weight classes, I could go into Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and have a healthy meal and go change my weight class, before I get up from the table. But anyway, his second comment was, he says, here's my picks for this weekend. He says he feels Rung is going to win a split decision over Chocolito in a close fight. Kudras wins a majority decision over Estrada in an action-packed fight. He says an Inoue knocks out Nieves in 7, and Brian Valoria takes care of Miguel via a 10th round TKO. Kanat Islam over Cook in a unanimous decision, and Usyk knocks out Captain Huck in 10.
Wow.
That's an interesting fight to kick off the World Boxing Super Series. And he says Benavidez knocks out Graville in 8. And he says Han will upset J. Leon Love in a unanimous decision. I really hope so. Because I think J. Leon Love is an extremely overrated fighter. And the one thing I do think about Abby Han is that he works hard. I don't think he's got the skill set, but he works hard. And I would like to see that upset. Benavidez is a young fighter who many think is the real deal. He's in kind of tough with Graville. So I like the fights we're going to be seeing this weekend. There's going to be a bunch of good ones. He says, Billy, what's your thoughts on Nordine Obulai? Who would you match him up with next? He says, I was thinking about Stuart Hall, Haskins, Zanat, Potapev, Adbeko, but there are so many fighters out there for him. King Kong Adbeko, I'd love to see him fight again. I loved King Kong Adbeko, if that's who you're referring to. But any of those fights, I mean, Stuart Hall is a good one. Haskins, I just think, we were talking about this yesterday, Sal. I just think that fighters need to be more active. And then if they were more active, their names would get out there more, and they would be more, known to fans, and that would help not only their own careers, but the sport itself. I think that by fighters fighting only a couple of times a year has really hurt the sport. I always refer to boxing in yesteryear as being a trade, and today it's like a side job. What's your thoughts?
Well, I always go back to the drawing board. Boxing today is different and is perceived differently by the fans in the United States. And what I mean by that is, during what I consider one of the great last eras of the 70s and 80s of fighting, and I was very, very fortunate enough to be part of that, you had a lot of domestic world champions, or you had a lot of name-known, recognized champions, whether they were from the countries south or countries in Europe, but as we know now, And these are the stats I'd like to see. Even though we may have less matches or less fights domestically, I'd like to see worldwide how it's viewed. Because I'm telling you, Bill, part of it is the fact that we have so many of these belts, and there are so many other champions outside of the United States, that it's hard for a good fan or a casual fan in the United States to keep track of who's who with all these belts and all these other fighters from other different countries that have just taken off with boxing and have taken those championship belts away from the United States because of the inactivity or just the lack of desire for all the fighters to rise to the occasion, do what they got to do to bring it back. I don't know. It's a different game today, and it's on a world stage, and it's not as much as it was just the domestic. You had North America, a little bit of Canada, South America, and European bloc countries. That's how it used to be perceived. Now you got the whole world, and that's who's participating in the sport of boxing. So I think on a world stage, boxing has been a popular sport and has not dissipated with its fan base worldwide. But domestically, yes, I see that we have definitely taken a turn.
Well, that's because we've become,
just had to expand on that.
We've become weak.
We've become weak.
This country has become weak. The people in this country are weak. The fact that we give everybody a participation trophy, the fact that everybody tries not to offend anybody. I memean, it's a joke. It's a joke. You got the nutcase in North Korea launching H-bombs, and his main goal in life is to launch one and hit the U.S. And we don't do anything about it because it is going to happen. People that think that it's not going to happen are stupid, Sal.
No. It will never land in the United States. It'll be taken down before it ever did, and they'll be squashed.
I don't know. We haven't spent any money on our defense in quite a while. Listen, I'm telling you that, and this is totally off topic, but I'm telling you,
yes,
it has reached such a point now that, and all the do-gooders, all the, political correctness, we are in a sense waiting for them to strike us and kill Americans before we retaliate. Because if we drop the first bomb or if we do the first move, everyone's going to blame us.
Exactly. Everyone's going to blame us.
So we got to take the first hit, which is bullshit. Why should anyone, and to tell you the truth, I feel bad for all the North Koreans because they are blocked from even knowing what's going on in the rest of the world, and they are being the pictures being painted that they're the victims, and the rest of us all see that this guy is just a total nutcase,
he is a total nutcase, and what? Unfortunately,
we got a nutcase too. But the truth of the matter is at least Donald isn't trying his bestest to bomb somebody. He's got a good chance now. He should press the button and do something.
Easy. Tell you what, we've become counterpunchers, and that's what the United States is today, counterpunchers, and we do counterpunch to win. So unfortunately, I don't like that stance totally. I think it does say a lot, but I think we're still the strongest country in the world, and I think we still have the kind of administration in today that will effectively counterpunch. I just don't like the idea that we could receive the first blow, and I don't like that. We did that from terrorists on 9/11, which is coming up, thank God. We can celebrate and reflect on that and remember what the tragedy was that's going to occur just in a couple of days.
Well, the sad truth, Sal, is that we're forced to take that first hit, and
we're forced. That's the political correctness. We can't be the big bullies of the world and do what we got to do to keep everybody in check anymore. So we got to take a shot and be a counterpuncher. That's it. But if we counterpunch, we got to counterpunch to win. That's over.
I truly believe that the majority of the people on this planet want peace, and when you have a couple of bad apples, rather than ignore them. And rather than pretend it's not going to happen, you got to take it out. It's the same thing with ISIS, this North Korean, anybody. whether people believe in different forms of government or not, hey, more power to them. I'm not suggesting that we have to force our way of life on anybody else.
No,
but as soon as that they cross that line where you're endangering, masses, not just your own people, and quite frankly, other countries shouldn't endanger their own people anyway. They shouldn't, make their own people prisoners. But whatever.
No,
we better stop this conversation.
We better stop because we can go down that slippery slope.
One last comment from Jesse says, "Hey Billy, Neary tested positive for steroids. Should he be stripped of his title?" Well, yeah. Because in my opinion, steroids, and I'm one of these guys that are 50-50. Maybe they should just say, you know what, everybody, screw it, use whatever the hell you want. But to suggest that somebody cheat. Now, whether you're cheating with steroids, whether you're cheating with cement in your gloves, whether you're cheating in any form. In other sports, deflated footballs, corks in your bat, whatever you're doing to cheat is not fair. The whole idea of competitiveness is to have an even playing field so the best person rises to the top or the best team rises to the top. Whenever you cheat, whatever form of cheating it is, you're a cheat. And if the guy used steroids to win his title, then he should be stripped. What's your thoughts?
Well, I agree with you 100%. And, what does it do to the competitor, to that individual, knowing that they didn't do it fair and square? And then they become, I guess you could say, addictive. Do they enter next field of battle, whether it's football, baseball, or boxing, and they say, well, I got to sustain this. I got to keep this in my regimen because I won last time. And, or do they go cold turkey and say, oh, boy, I don't have my little placebo or boost of confidence or going in my favor anymore. So once you bite that bullet and you go down that slippery slope, your career might as well have gone downwards on a slippery slope. Did I repeat that? Yeah.
Hey, we got another email. Thanks for the email, Jesse. This email is from Mitch. He says, hey, Billy C., I got a serious question for you. If Sal got the call, would he take the fight? And he's referring to Mickey Rourke, who's 64 years old and wants to fight again. And he's saying that Golden Boy is going to promote the fight. No comments from Golden Boy. His last fight was 2 years ago in Russia, and he won by knockout. And, there was a lot of rumor that the fight was fixed. And as soon as that fight happened, Sal called me. I will speak before Sal even answers. He called me and says, I want that fight. Make that fight. I want to fight Mickey Rourke. I want that fight. So the answer to your question, Mitch, I'll let Sal answer it. But my answer for Sal first is, of course he would take the fight. Would we let him? Probably not. But then again, against Mickey Rourke, 64-year-old, I think that would be an even fight. Sal, would you take the fight?
Absolutely, in a heartbeat. And I called Don Turner to see if he wants to get back in the ring with me. Or somebody. Yeah, definitely. I would take that fight. I would take that fight tomorrow. I would take that fight today. Send the contracts.
Hey, listen, anybody
I'm excited. Could it be possible? Can we do it? I would love it, Bill. I can't believe it. Let's promote that. Let's get that on there.
Anybody that's listening that has any connection to Mickey Rourke, give me a call and we'll make the fight happen. Sal's ready. He'll take the fight, Mickey. So as long as you don't go in the ring as Marv from Sin City, Sal's got a chance. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, I got another email and some other stuff. Don't go nowhere.
Billy C will be right back. Part of the Billy C Boxing Network.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Exercise year-round against a smooth current set to your desired pace and temperature. With our new underwater treadmill, you can walk or run without stressing your joints. Endless pools are simple to install and even simpler to maintain. The water stays crystal clear with almost no chlorine. Call for your free idea kit and experience the freedom of swimming at home.
If you or a loved one have had hernia repair surgery with mesh reinforcement and suffered infection, chronic pain, mesh migration, mesh failure, organ damage, or needed additional surgery, call the Rely On Group right now. You may be eligible to receive a cash award and compensation for your medical expenses. Your voice deserves to be heard. Call the Rely On Group to be connected with a personal injury attorney for a free consultation. Call 800-715-4869. That's 800-715-4869.
This is important news for women using birth control medications and devices. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with a pseudotumor after using one of these birth control drugs or devices, you may be eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Contact the law firm of Davis & Crump right now if you or a loved one have used one of these birth control medications or devices and were diagnosed with a pseudotumor to see if you are eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Call now. Operators are standing by.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some important news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from television host and three-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we are about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-493-9652 now, and you'll receive a free copy of Josh Melberg's book, Next Gen Annuity Strategies Revealed. As a bonus, we'll also send you the #1 mistakes retirees are making with their investments today, and a free DVD on how you can get up to 33% more income in retirement. Call 800-493-9652 to have your free information kit rushed to your door. Again, that's 800-493-9652.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts! Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you!
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning. Now back to Billy C. Interact with the show at BillyCBoxing.com.
And we're back. You're listening and watching the Billy C. Show. Glad you could be with us, and also with us now. We took his muzzle off. His Sal Rocky Senecola. You ready? You ready for Mickey Rourke?
I'm ready. I got my training shirt on. I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to go in that ring.
Well,
let me at him.
I don't think. I don't think.
Let me we're around this.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff, knock it off. Jeff. You know. But
really, I can see the team right now. We're gonna form our dream team training regimen.
Well, all I could say is if anybody involved with Mickey Rourke, if you're serious and you do want to fight, I got a guy that's close to your age, ready to fight, and his name is Sal Rocky Senecola. But we got one more email, Rock. This one is from a man, Joel. He says, hey, Billy C., I have a non-boxing question for you and Sal today. I'm sure you heard yesterday about the FBI arresting Craig Carlton of the Boomer and Carlton show, which I know is incredibly popular on AM radio. It's on The Fan out of New York City. He says, it's also on TV too, the S Network. He says, it completely surprised me that this would happen considering how well the show was doing and the money that both men make. It goes to show you no matter how much money you make, you can never be happy until you have more. The story hits home to me because Carlton was born in New Rochelle, which is not far from me. It's New Rochelle. New Rochelle is in Westchester County. He said in New York. He says, what do you think of Carlton as a sports radio guy? What were your and Sal's thoughts when you first heard this? Will Boomer be able to keep the ratings up alone, or if they decide to find someone else to replace Carlton? It seemed like they had good on-air chemistry together like you and Sal do. Disappointing that he cheated people out of so much money to pay off his personal gambling debts, which allegedly he was in the hole for over $3 million. He says, I also hope Sal and his family are safe and well with the hurricane approaching, heading south. I hope it doesn't go anywhere near Sal. And that's from Joel.
Thank you so much.
And we all hope Sal is ready in the underground shelter he has. But And by the way, they say it is going to hit Miami, but it's not as bad as they anticipated for the Puerto Rico. But some of the small islands on the Caribbean have been hit very, very hard. So I hope everyone comes out of that okay.
Our best wishes, yes.
As far as the Carton and Boomer show, I was a little surprised. And Craig Carlton has been battling many vices. He had a drug and alcohol problem for a while that he overcame, and the gambling one, to be honest with you, caught me off guard. I really didn't know that he was a big time gambler. I don't like when people call gambling and alcohol a disease, because it's something that you can control. Yes, in terms of alcoholism, once you become an alcoholic, just like a drug addict, it takes over and, could be looked upon as a disease. But a disease like, cancer or MS or something like that is something that you don't have anything to prevent it by. Alcoholism, drug addiction, and gambling addiction can all be prevented by not doing it. I know it sounds easier said than done, but to suggest that a disease caused you to rob somebody for your drug or alcohol habit, or to rob somebody to pay off your gambling debt, is hard for me to swallow. And I as much as I like Carton Boomer, and I do agree with Joel about the chemistry that these two guys had, and they had a very entertaining show, that doesn't give him a pass. And, I in a way you feel bad for him because of the success for the show, but what about all the people he literally stole money from to pay off his own gambling debt? I think he got what he deserved. I hate to sound like a prick on this, but I do. And for any powers that be from the fan, if you're looking for a guy to hang out and do the show with Boomer, I'm available. I think that my style would work good with the Boom. But I don't know, Sal. I mean, yes, it's unfortunate. In all seriousness, I like the show and I like both Carlton and Boomer. But to steal from people to do that, there's no justification in my mind. What's your thoughts?
No, it's not. It's not on the up. It's not right. And you don't steal. You don't do. You got. You don't have to do that. And no, I agree with you, Bill. It's a bad thing. Bad thing. And when you see bad things, you avoid them. So that's it. It just takes the flipping of the switch.
Well, the thing is. I guess what I read is that he did like some kind of Ponzi scheme or whatever, and rip people off. And when you're a known person, and I guess you got to give him credit. I mean, he did have celebrity status, at least in New York. People are more trusting of individuals that have that status, and it's even worse in a sense, because. You're preying on people that are trusting you, and you're justifying it because a gambler will say, and I gamble. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it, but I do gamble.
You want to bet?
But yeah, you want to bet? But the thing is that a gambler that's in the red will justify doing whatever they got to do in order to get even. And then in the back of his mind, I'm sure he was thinking, well, I'll give them their money back or I'll make them money or whatever. But a gambler, I mean, the bookies wouldn't still be in business. Vegas wouldn't be as successful as it is if people beat the system. Earlier I mentioned Mayweather. Mayweather brags about when he wins a bet. He puts on social media the winning tickets, etc., etc. I would just like to know how many losing tickets he has. Because, at the end of the day, I don't care how good you are, you're going to end up losing. Bookies don't lose. I mean, they might have a bad week, they might have a bad month, they might have a bad season. But in the long run, the bookies don't lose. What do you think?
Nor do casinos.
Well, it's, that's my point. I mean, casinos wouldn't be in business if you had. I once knew a guy.
Let's open up a casino,
Hey,
Bill,
listen,
and
I once
let's
knew
call
a
it
guy.
the Boxers Almighty, and we'll see how long we stay in business. We let everybody win.
Listen to this. I once knew a guy that swore to me that he had a system in roulette and that he could win money playing roulette and that he wins money. You know, and as a matter of fact, he went into a casino and he applied a system. And then when he came back, he told me that his system worked, that he won some money. And I asked his girlfriend, did he win money? And his girlfriend said, yeah, he won money. And then I find out that he lost 10 times as much money that he won, but he wanted to make sure that he told me that he won some money and didn't tell me about losing any money. You don't know who that person is, do you, Sal?
It wasn't me. I mean, we lost the money on the slot machine. I kept winning the money on the roulette, but I gave it to Kayla on the slot machine. That was in Chicago a couple of years ago. No, my roulette system won. I'll tell you. It's here's this. And I was just talking about it yesterday, and we went away last weekend to a cruise line, and we had a good time until we got called back. But the system that I have, here's the one thing that I do know.
Here's one thing I know. There is no system that works in roulette.
There is no system that does work, and even with the roulette wheel, the one thing you'll learn is that the wheel does not have a memory. It doesn't know where it landed the last time. You could play the odds. You could play what you think is going to work, especially the way I do it on a progressive system of betting. And fortunately enough, it does work. I'm very disciplined. In fact, if I bring enough of a bank to cover 5 turns or whatever, if I win, I win. If I lose, and I walk away. And that's it. Or I take the winnings and I hand it over to my girlfriend, and she can use the slots machines. And she doubled her money. We did the same thing the other night, and she doubled her money on a slot machine. So we all won. I won money at roulette. I gave her the money to go play slots, and she won the money. So we came off the boat winners.
Listen, boys and girls, do not
not
listen to Sal Rocky Senecola. There is no such thing as a system in roulette. I don't care. And I'll tell you another thing. There is definitely not a system in the slots. You know, yes, you can get lucky and win in both games. And I've seen, I will admit this. One time I was in Vegas, and this is no joke, Sal. One time I was in Vegas, and there was this, I think he was Chinese, but let me just say he was an Oriental guy, and he had a pad with him. And I actually looked over at the pad, but he was writing in Chinese. I didn't understand what all the things meant. But he sat at that wheel, and I happened to have been playing roulette. I was killing time, and because I'm a craps player, I like playing craps. But I'm watching this guy, and he watches the wheel, a couple of rolls, and all of a sudden he would slide a bunch of chips on a number, not boxing a number, right on the number. And don't you know that the friggin' number would come up? And I sat there for a while watching this guy do this, and he was winning a ton of money. And I'm saying to myself, what the hell is he doing? I mean, what kind of what do they call it? Algorithms or math that he's applying, law of averages or whatever, that is netting him this money. Eventually, they asked him to leave, and that was the only time I ever saw somebody really appear to be beating the system at roulette. And that's a true story. It happened at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas probably 15 years ago. But aside from that, I think you got to have energy around you and be a little lucky when it comes to the casino games, brother.
Well, I think you're right. As much as I like to say, my system is not foolproof, but you know what? I could write a book on it. I definitely could write a book and explain my whole strategy, as well as doing it with blackjack and doing it with roulette and doing it with a few other wheel games. Even we'll look at some of the slot machines that you can maximize the odds in your favor.
My advice to you is stick to pizza.
You're right. I will take that advice. Thank you very much.
Hey, we got a big fight this weekend. We got some big fights, and we'll talk about them tomorrow. But like Sal had mentioned earlier in the show, the fight that we all have been clamoring for and really wanting to see is going to happen next weekend. And of course, I'm talking about Triple G against Canelo. It is an extremely meaningful fight. The winner of this fight will be labeled as the best middleweight in the world today, hands down. And when we look at these guys, and as next week comes, we'll be focusing on breaking down these fights and these fighters and everything else. But I have some stats to throw at you to start to digest about the two fighters. Interesting stats that have nothing to do with the styles and which version of the fighter we're going to see and what they got to do to win and all that stuff, which we'll be getting into in detail next week. But some interesting things about this matchup, Sal, that, really doesn't jump out at you until you start researching it closely. Like, for example, we all know that Triple G is older than Canelo Alvarez. Triple G is 35 and Canelo is 27. So he's 8 years older. But did you know that Triple G has fought 12 less fights than Saul Canelo Alvarez, and that equals 181 less rounds than Saul Canelo Alvarez. Canelo has fought 181 more rounds of boxing than Triple G. My question to you is that's a substantial.
That's significant.
Yeah, that's
significant.
That is that, and my
there's a lot of shots and abuse.
Okay, now my point is, if you'd shut up for a minute, Sal. My point is 181 rounds, right? Does that equal the age difference in your opinion? Does that equal the 8 years younger that Canelo is over Triple G? That has more mileage on him. That he's been, fighting for 181 more rounds, almost 600 minutes more of action. Does that take his toll? I mean, it's easy to assume that Triple G has more mileage on him because he's 35. What's your thoughts on that?
Thank you. I had to unzip my lip. I think that's a heck of a stat, Bill. And because, we're talking about what the body can endure over a career. And, that is significantly a lot of rounds. That's how many fights could that equate to? If you go 10 rounds fights, that's going to be like 19 fights. And
he's got 12. He's got 12 more fights.
Right, he's got 12 more fights. But if you look at breaking it up, divided by 10 rounds or 12 rounds, yeah, you got it. But and the body could take its toll. I mean, being in the ring. Now, Canelo Alvarez hasn't abused himself physically with outside curricular activity. And he seems to live a good, clean life, and he's got youth and recuperative skills being on his side. But
wait! Time out! I made a mistake. He's got 14 more fights.
See, I did the math.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for correcting me. Go ahead, finish your thought.
Thank you very much. So I think that that can equate to mileage on the human body. And I don't know if it would make them equal in age, if you say, how many years in a cat or a dog. But, I get the gist, and I think it is significant because, like I said, I think Triple G may have 2 or 3 great wars left in his body. And Canelo Alvarez, when you tell me this, he, even though he's young, we'll see. It only takes one serious fight to have a fighter leave that ring and never be the same. And this fight is going to be of the magnitude I think it's going to live up to its anticipation. And I think these guys are going to go at it, and it's going to be a war, and it's going to be a grueling 6 to 8 rounds, no matter what happens and who's going to be in the lead. I think it's going to be 6 good rounds of ebb and flow, and I think it's going to be after that 6th round we're going to see one of these combatants have some momentum shift on their side and ultimately come out the victor with, I think, a stoppage before that 12th round is over.
What about the fact that, believe it or not, Canelo Alvarez turned pro a year earlier than Triple G. Canelo turned pro in October of 2005, and in May of 2006 was Triple G's first fight. Is there any significance with that, or because even that 1 year, a little less than a year, doesn't really equate to as many rounds that Saul Canelo Alvarez has had compared to Triple G?
No, and I think one thing that would come into play, I'd like to see what their amateur stats were as far as how many fights. I know in Mexico and some of the South American countries, these guys turn pro at a very young age, and they're used to fighting on a regular basis. And there's a pro and con to that. I mean, your body is always in good shape because you have to fight every couple of weeks or every couple of months, and you're not abusing your body of layoffs and everything else. You're keeping that fine-tuned machine ready to go. So that does not take the wear and tear of a guy who takes off 3, 4, 6 months, letting their body remain idle or heavy and then bringing it back down. So there are trade-offs here, Bill. And, I also know that both these fighters and the countries they come from, they are fed a good, steady diet of amateur fights. So, I'd like to see a little bit more about their amateur records and what they did. And because that does take a toll on it, too, and all the sparring. I mean, like I said, when my generation, we sparred to get in fine-tuned shape, and we would spar 25, 35, sometimes 40 rounds a week against somebody that, I'm not saying we went all out like a fight, but we did not hold back. We went out to do a good job and not get hit, and to make sure we hit.
Well, I mean, the truth of the matter is that Triple G had an extensive amateur career.
Yes, he did.
And you make a good point, but they also have headgear on. And you wonder about what kind of mileage and stuff. And quite honestly, back in the day, prior to you, the fighters fought more frequently and sparred less. Today's boxing is the reverse. They spar a hell of a lot more than they do with real active fights. And I wonder, because you know what they say, Sal, and you've been involved with them yourself, but the gym wars are better a lot of times than the fights itself.
I had gym wars where we got standing ovations, and let me tell you something. I've been in a million gym wars, and that's what I'm saying. I would say to myself, "Damn, this should be a main event fight." I mean, the ebb and flow and everything else. I mean, it was a war, and I loved it, and I had the opportunity to be in the ring doing that with many world-class fighters that were champions.
Another interesting stat that jumps out at me is when you look at these resumes of both of these fighters. Saul Canelo Alvarez, you could make a real strong case that he's faced the better opposition. And in my opinion, he has fought 11 top-notch fighters, arguably A-level fighters, and he's got a record of 10-1 against those fighters. Triple G, on the other hand, has fought 9 fighters, which I call top opposition, and he's got a record of 9-0 against them. What kind of significance does that make, in your opinion, with these kinds of fighters? When you're looking at the amount of mileage that could be considered on these guys.
Well, I think these guys are at the stage of their career where they know, Triple G does at least, that he's in the twilight. He is definitely in the last quarter or definitely the last third of his career. And Canelo could probably say he's over the halfway mark. And at this point, I think they're going to approach any fight, especially this fight of significance. Like I always say, if I get that fight with the actor, I'm going to approach it with the enthusiasm of my first fight and with the glory and anticipation this could be my last fight. And that's the ferocity, the intensity, the passion that you have to look at it. And these guys come from the kind of countries where they have pride. They have a level of, hey, I can't lose. I am a pit bull. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to win, or they're going to carry me out. I mean, that's the mindset. That's the mentality. And that goes a long way in a heart and mind of a champion. That's why these two combatants are champions. They do not see. In fact, I'll tell you what. If this was the Canelo Alvarez today going in to see the Mayweather of yesterday, I think Mayweather would be finding himself on a canvas, because Canelo Alvarez has improved significantly. But what I think he has done also has allowed that passion, that heart, that not lose mentality, and doing it not only for country pride and self, but all above in his world, on the line, that he fights for a lot of reasons, and his goal is to win a fight, and I think that carries him a lot further than a lot of the opponents that he's faced, obviously. And same thing with Triple G. I mean, he's got a lot of pride, a lot of passion, and a lot of heart. And these guys, that's what I'm going to say, Bill. This is I can't tell you how excited that I am that these guys are going to finally get in the ring. And I still, I won't even go with Mayweather being ringside, but
he's
he probably will
forget
be
Mayweather. Mayweather is done. He's finished.
Okay, I know. He's not going to get in the ring. And he's not going to challenge
he's not
the winner of the fight.
Listen,
and he's not going to.
First of all, he's 40 years old. But second of all, he's not man enough to fight the winner of this fight. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to prove anything. But either fighter could beat Mayweather right now. We all said that the top welterweights in the world, Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, even Sean Porter, Kell Brook, all those guys would beat Floyd right now, and Floyd knows it. But interesting fact that you make, Saul Canelo Alvarez fought Mayweather 4 years ago. It was a good time for Mayweather to fight him. His skill set was already starting to diminish, but Saul Canelo Alvarez was not the same fighter he is today. He has clearly gotten better, and I think a lot of that has to be given, a lot of credit for that has to be given to Floyd, because that fight with Floyd Mayweather 4 years ago has made Canelo Alvarez a better fighter. However, his one weakness that we've talked about many, many times is going to be the reason why Triple G is hopefully, not hopefully, but why I think he might do okay. One other thing I wanted to mention about this fight, interesting stats that we're talking about. Triple G is 1.5 inches taller, but his arm reach is 1.5 inches less. And when you see the two guys standing next to each other, Sal, Canelo looks like the bigger guy. I mean, yeah, Triple G might be 1.5 inches taller when they, put the measuring tape on, but Canelo is the bigger mass guy. And come fight night, when we watch this fight, you're going to see it in the ring. And all these naysayers, all the Mayweather fans that were saying, oh, Floyd is so small, he's a little guy, Triple G is so big, he's got to move up and fight Kovalev or Ward at light heavyweight. That's not true. When you see him fight and you see him next to Canelo, you're going to see that Canelo is going to look like the bigger guy.
I will place a bet right now, and I will bet that come fight night, fight time, that Canelo Alvarez will be heavier than Triple G. I don't think it's going to come into play, but the outcome. But I do believe in my heart of hearts that Canelo Alvarez will be heavier, scale-wise, than Triple G will come the night of the fight.
Well, let me give Craig Carlton a call and see if he'll take that bet.
Okay.
And I know he's under the FBI's control right now for that. But I heard he needs to raise some money. So let me see if Carlton can take your bet.
Hey, guess what? On that kind of bet, is there an under and an over?
I don't know. He's saying "woe is me" right now.
It's going to be well scaled.
Yeah. Hey, listen, boys and girls. Tomorrow. We'll be closing out the week. We'll be breaking down and giving you our predictions on the World Boxing Super Series fight and the big fights that we will be watching on HBO, including the return of Roman Gonzalez, more commonly known as Chocolito, as he gets his shot at a rematch of the fighter, which I'm not going to try to pronounce his name, who actually gave him his first and only loss. So make sure you tune in. Hopefully we'll have some time to open up the phone lines. And speaking of Triple G and Canelo, you can mark it down right now that we will be doing a post-fight show. There is no question about that. So make sure you include tuning in right here, wherever you're watching or listening to the Billy C Show, that as soon as that fight is over, tune it in here to get our thoughts, and we will open up the phone lines to get yours. So you all know how it is after the big fights. It's late at night, and you're all jacked up, and you want to talk about the fight that just took place. Well, make sure you mark it down on your calendar that Sal and myself will be here to take the calls. Now, unfortunately, when we take the calls, Sal won't be here because, in order to take the call, I got to, hang up on our connection with Sal. But we will be giving you our thoughts, and we're hoping to get a lot of yours come next weekend. And I'm excited about this fight, Sal, but we got a good weekend of fights coming up this weekend, so that'll be a little, precursor to the big, huge fight of next weekend. So, hey, I'm going to leave you guys with this. Make sure you tune in tomorrow morning. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, ciao, baby.